In the American democratic system, the judicial branch is designed to be an impartial arbiter of justice, separate from the influence of political forces. Judges are expected to make decisions based on evidence, legal precedent, and constitutional principles, not the whims of public opinion or partisan interests. This vision of a fair and independent judiciary is essential to the functioning of American democracy. However, recent events have called this ideal into question, highlighting a troubling shift towards politicizing the courts. The ongoing legal battles surrounding former President Donald Trump, especially in the New York trial overseen by Judge Marshan, have brought the judiciary into the political crosshairs. Republican lawmakers have launched a concerted campaign to undermine the credibility of the judges handling Trump's cases. This includes baseless allegations, calls for criminal investigations, and even personal attacks against judges and their families. The case of Judge Marshan is particularly emblematic of these rising tensions. Recently, two Republican representatives from Florida, Anna Paulina Luna and Corey Mills, appeared on Fox News to accuse Marshan of bias and called for criminal probes into his family's political activities. This rhetoric is not only an attack on Marshan as an individual, but on the independence of the judiciary as a whole. If such tactics are allowed to continue unchecked, the very foundation of fair trials in America could be at risk. This video will delve into the nature of these attacks, the motivations behind them, the historical precedents of such actions, and the broader consequences for the U.S. legal system. Is this simply a partisan fight? Or are we witnessing the early stages of a systematic erosion of judicial independence? Let's explore this pivotal moment in American politics and law. The rise of judicial attacks, a case study of Judge Marshan. Judge Marshan's background and integrity. Judge Marshan's career serves as an example of professionalism in the judiciary. Appointed to the bench in 2006, Marshan has overseen a number of complex cases involving high-profile figures and corporations. He is known for his meticulous attention to detail, fair-minded approach, and adherence to legal standards. These qualities have earned him the respect of his peers, both in the legal community and beyond. However, his involvement in the legal cases surrounding Donald Trump has thrust him into the political spotlight. Marshan was appointed to preside over Trump's New York criminal case, which involves allegations related to financial fraud and campaign finance violations. The case is one of several that Trump faces, and it is widely seen as crucial to determining his legal future. Given the intense political stakes, Marshan's impartiality has been subject to scrutiny from both Trump's supporters and critics alike. Recognizing the potential for conflicts of interest, Marshan proactively addressed the issue of impartiality before taking the case. He disclosed that his daughter, Lauren Marshan, works for a consulting firm that has historically worked with Democratic political campaigns. In an effort to avoid any appearance of bias, Marshan sought ethical guidance from New York's Judicial Ethics Panel, which reviewed the situation and concluded that there was no conflict of interest. The panel's decision cleared Marshan to proceed with the case. Despite this official clearance, the controversy surrounding Marshan's impartiality has persisted. Republican lawmakers, including Representatives Anna Paulina Luna and Corey Mills, have seized upon this as an opportunity to attack the judge. They allege that the mere fact of Marshan's daughter's political involvement raises questions about the judge's ability to rule fairly. This claim is not only misleading, it is entirely unfounded. The role of Republican lawmakers in fueling the narrative. The personal attacks on Judge Marshan and his family. The political attacks on Judge Marshan are part of a broader strategy by Republican lawmakers to discredit the judiciary whenever it makes decisions that are perceived as unfavorable to their cause. This is not the first time that judges have come under fire for their rulings, but the intensity and personal nature of these attacks mark a troubling new chapter in American political discourse. In a recent Fox News appearance, Representative Corey Mills went so far as to suggest that the Department of Justice should investigate Judge Marshan and his family. He specifically pointed to the judge's daughter, Lauren, claiming that her work fundraising for Kamala Harris and Joe Biden in the past was a clear conflict of interest. Mills's comments are part of a larger campaign to delegitimize the legal proceedings involving Trump by attacking the people who are presiding over them. What we need to look at, Mills stated, is Judge Marshan and his daughter. She was actively supporting Kamala Harris and Joe Biden while Trump was going through the New York court system. This attack, though sensational, is based on little more than political calculation. It is a deliberate attempt to cast doubt on the fairness of the proceedings, with no evidence to support the claim that Marshan's daughter's political activities have influenced his judicial decisions. Moreover, Marshan's transparency in disclosing his family's professional affiliations should have alleviated any concerns. Instead, these concerns are being manipulated to further a political agenda. Representative Anna Paulina Luna echoed this rhetoric, expanding the attack to Special Counsel Jack Smith, who is overseeing the federal investigation into Trump's actions. Luna claimed that Smith had violated the Constitution and implied that there should be an investigation into his actions as well. Luna's comments were part of a larger effort to portray the investigation into Trump as a politically motivated witch hunt and to erode public trust in the legal system. The politics of judicial attacks, a new era of partisan warfare. The sustained attack on Judge Marshan and others involved in Trump's legal battles is part of a broader trend of judicial politicization. Historically, judicial independence in the United States has been seen as a bulwark against political overreach. Judges are appointed for life to ensure that they can rule without fear of political reprisal. However, in recent years, the judiciary has increasingly become a battleground for partisan conflict. This phenomenon is not confined to the Trump era. Over the past 2 decades, the judicial nomination process has become increasingly politicized. The confirmation battles for Supreme Court justices have become focal points for ideological warfare, with Republicans and Democrats alike using their control over the Senate to confirm judges who align with their political views. As the courts become more ideologically divided, the pressure on individual judges increases, especially in high-stakes cases, like those involving Donald Trump. The current situation is a dangerous escalation. It is not just about appointing politically favorable judges. It is about undermining those who do not serve a partisan agenda. By personally attacking judges like Marshan, lawmakers are sending a message that judicial independence is no longer sacrosanct. If judges are to be punished for decisions that do not align with the political goals of one party, the entire concept of a fair trial is at risk. Historical context: weaponizing the judiciary. The use of the judiciary as a tool for political warfare is not new. Throughout American history, there have been numerous instances where political factions have sought to influence the courts. One notable example is the court-packing plan proposed by President Franklin D. Roosevelt in the 1930s. After a series of Supreme Court rulings that blocked key pieces of his New Deal legislation, Roosevelt attempted to expand the number of justices on the court in order to secure favorable rulings. While Roosevelt's court-packing plan ultimately failed, the episode demonstrated the dangers of politicizing the judiciary. More recently, the contentious confirmation battles for Supreme Court justices, particularly in the 2010s, have highlighted the growing role of political interests in judicial appointments. However, the current attacks on judges, like Juan Marshan, represent a new frontier. Rather than simply seeking to appoint ideologically aligned judges, political figures are now actively undermining those who rule against them, regardless of their impartiality or legal qualifications. The consequences of judicial intimidation. The consequences of these attacks are profound. Judicial independence is one of the fundamental pillars of American democracy. If judges are subjected to constant political pressure and personal attacks, their ability to make fair and impartial decisions is severely compromised. Moreover, the very concept of justice becomes undermined when the public believes that the legal system is politically motivated. The legitimacy of judicial decisions relies on the belief that judges are impartial and that their rulings are based on law, not political considerations. When this belief is eroded, the entire foundation of the justice system is shaken. This situation also sets a dangerous precedent for future legal battles. If successful, The campaign against Judge Marshan could inspire similar attacks on judges across the country. If partisan figures can threaten legal professionals with criminal investigations and personal ruin for doing their jobs, fewer people will be willing to take on high-profile, politically sensitive cases. This could lead to a chilling effect, where judges hesitate to make decisions that might anger powerful political figures. The attack on Judge Marshan and his family is not just an isolated incident. It is part of a broader attempt to erode the very foundation of the American legal system. If these attacks are allowed to succeed, they will set a dangerous precedent that threatens the independence of the judiciary and the fairness of future trials.